For Confucius, the answer was not found in wealth, conquest, or personal glory, but in the bonds between people, the duties we owe, and the harmony we create. More than 2,500 years ago, in ancient China, he offered a simple yet profound vision that society could thrive if individuals lived with virtue, respect, and responsibility. His ideas became more than philosophy. They became the blueprint for entire civilizations. The world of Confucius. Confucius was born in 551 BCE in the state of Lu during China's spring and autumn period, a time of political chaos and moral decline. Rival kingdoms fought for dominance, traditions were collapsing, and ordinary people were left adrift. In this turbulence, Confucius dreamed of restoring order, not through power, but through wisdom and virtue. His teachings were a response to a broken world, a call to rebuild society from the inside out. The man behind the philosophy. Unlike kings or generals, Confucius was not born to wealth. His early life was marked by hardship, but he cultivated a love for study, history, and ritual. He became a teacher, traveling from state to state, offering rulers advice on how to govern justly. Though he was rarely given political power, his words outlasted those who ignored him. Students followed him, recording his sayings, which later formed the Analects, the living record of his philosophy. Harmony through relationships. At the heart of Confucius's thought was the idea of relationships. He believed society is not built by laws alone, but by the moral bonds between people. He described the 5 relationships: ruler and subject, parent and child, husband and wife, elder and younger, friend and friend. Each role carried duties, loyalty, respect, care, and guidance. If these were honored, harmony would flow naturally through the entire society, like water through a well-dug canal. The power of filial piety. Of all virtues, Confucius placed special emphasis on filial piety, respect for parents and ancestors. To him, the family was the root of all morality. If children honored their parents, they would grow into adults who honored rulers and upheld justice. This sense of duty to family created the foundation for a stable community. Across Asia, even today, this teaching lives on in traditions of ancestor worship, reverence for elders, and family loyalty that still shape culture and identity. Virtue over force. Confucius rejected the idea that power comes from armies or punishment. True power, he argued, comes from virtue. A ruler who governed with kindness and justice would inspire loyalty, while a cruel one would invite rebellion. The virtuous leader, he said, is like the North Star fixed, while others revolve around it. His vision was radical in a time when warlords relied on fear. He believed goodness, not violence, was the path to lasting strength. The way of ritual. Another cornerstone of Confucianism was Li ritual, order and proper conduct. For Confucius, rituals were not just ceremonies. They were daily practices that reminded people of respect, gratitude, and humility. Bowing to elders, honoring ancestors, or observing social courtesies all reinforced harmony. Even small acts mattered because they reflected inner virtue. In a world of chaos, Li was the glue that held society together. Education as the great equalizer. Confucius believed knowledge should not be restricted to nobles. It should be open to all. This was revolutionary in his time. He trained students from diverse backgrounds, insisting that character, not birth, determined worth. His emphasis on learning became the backbone of Chinese civilization. For centuries, civil service exams were based on Confucian texts, ensuring that rulers and officials were judged by wisdom, not lineage. The ideal person. The Junzi. Confucius often spoke of the Junzi, the gentleman or superior person. This ideal human was not born noble, but became noble through virtue, humility, and learning. The Junzi was selfless, trustworthy, and just, serving as a moral compass for others. By striving to become a Junzi, anyone could elevate themselves and, in turn, elevate society. It was a philosophy of self-improvement with social impact, uniting personal growth with communal responsibility. Challenges and opposition. Not all embraced his teachings. During his lifetime, many rulers dismissed him, preferring military conquest to moral reform. Later, rival schools of thought like Taoism, which valued retreat from society, and legalism, which relied on strict laws and punishment, challenged his vision. Yet Confucianism endured, precisely because it was practical. It addressed everyday life, from family and governance to learning and ethics, making it a philosophy that could guide generations. Confucianism becomes state doctrine. Centuries after his death, the Han Dynasty embraced Confucianism as the official ideology of China. His teachings shaped governance, education, and culture for over 2 millennia. They spread across Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, becoming the moral fabric of East Asia. Confucius had sought to reform his fractured world, and long after he was gone, his dream became reality. Criticism and reform. Yet Confucianism was not without its critics. Some argued it reinforced hierarchy too strictly, limiting freedom and keeping women in subordinate roles. Others saw it as rigid and overly traditional. In modern times, it was even attacked during China's Cultural Revolution as a symbol of old thinking. But today, scholars re-examine his work, finding not oppression, but a timeless call for responsibility, respect, and moral leadership, principles still relevant in a rapidly changing world. Lessons for the modern age. What can Confucius teach us now? In a world of division and conflict, his emphasis on harmony feels urgent. In an age of selfish ambition, his call for duty and service shines bright. In societies where families often drift apart, his reminder of filial piety still resonates. And in nations struggling with leadership, his insistence that rulers must lead by virtue rather than fear remains a standard worth striving for. The teacher lives on. More than a philosopher, Confucius became a cultural ancestor. Temples were built in his honor, scholars bowed to his wisdom, and his words became sacred texts. Even today, students in Asia recite his teachings, governments draw from his principles, and thinkers worldwide explore his relevance. He lived as a teacher who had no throne, no army, no riches, yet reshaped the destiny of civilizations. Conclusion. Order, harmony, duty. The legacy of Confucius is not just a set of ancient sayings, it is a living philosophy. It teaches us that true strength lies in virtue, that order begins with the family, that leadership is service, and that harmony is built by honoring our duties. For over 2,500 years, his words have guided empires, shaped cultures, and offered wisdom to individuals searching for meaning. In a world still struggling with chaos, Confucius's voice whispers across centuries, live with respect, act with virtue, and society will follow.